Bonjour! Today we're going to learn how to conjugate regular and irregular RE verbs. So we've already learned how to do ER verbs, right? ER verbs, you have E, ESC, ONS, EZ, ENT. We've already learned how to do IR verbs, IS, IS, IT, ISS, ONS, ISSE, EZ, ISSE, ENT, right? And now we're going to learn how to do RE verbs. Now, RE verbs are not as much fun. They don't have a cool song, but the way I've always remembered it is that RE verbs are part of this battleship, okay? We have a battleship, and RE verbs are part of the battleship, the SS nothing. That is the name of the battleship for RE verbs, the SS nothing, okay? And basically what that means for regular, okay, we are going to cover regular and irregular, but this is just for regular, so let me just specify regular. For regular, they're going to be part of the SS nothing. And what that means is when you conjugate them, it's going to be S for je, S for tu, and il and elle is nothing. Then nous and vous and il and elle follow the exact same pattern as our ER verbs. So easy, you don't have to really remember anything new. ONS, EZ, ENT. Okay? So let's do an example of this. We have attendre, which is to wait. Okay, and so I would do J apostrophe, right, because vowel. And I would take off ER and I would add my new ending. Take off RE, not ER, oops. Take off RE and add a new ending. My new ending for je is S, tu, S, and il and elle, nothing. Okay? Then over here we're going to do O and S, easy, and ENT. Pretty simple, right? These are your regular RE verbs. Let me give you guys a few example ones that you guys will be seeing. Okay, these are regulars. Regulars. Okay. You have descendre, which means to go. Okay, it's like to descend, but like to go downstairs, or like if you wanted to if you wanted to get off a bus, you would use I'm descending off of the bus. It's kind of weird. To go downstairs, to get off, like a bus, or to take down. Descendre. It's kind of interesting, definitely different in French. I mean in English than it is. Okay, then we have entendre, which means to hear. Perdre, which is to lose. So all of these are regular. They follow this pattern. They're part of the battleship SS nothing. Rendre is to give back or to return. Rendre visite is actually to visit someone. Répondre, to respond or to answer. And then vendre, vendre is to sell. Okay. Let me give you guys the past tense really quickly. If you remember, we did passé composé, right? How to talk about it in the past tense. And when you're talking about, when you're doing the past tense, if you wanted to say like I sold something, or I answered something, or I visited someone, I heard something, remember you need to have passé composé, you need to have your helping verb, right, avoir, and then you need to have your past participle. And the way to form your past participle with RE verbs, I don't know if y'all remember this, but RE becomes you, okay? So this is for passé composé specifically. RE becomes you. in the past tense. In the present tense, you take off RE and you just do SS nothing, ONS, ENT. In the past tense, though, you just change RE to U in all of these cases, okay? So if I wanted to say, I sold, I would say, j'ai vendu. I took off RE and it became a U, okay? So, j'ai vendu. Let's do the rest of these conjugations for this one. Tu as vendu, you sold something. Il or elle a vendu. Remember passé composé? All it does is it's changing the ending of that past participle, and it's the same throughout, okay? The only thing that's going to change is our helping verb, which is that. Nous avons vendu. Vous avez vendu. Y'all sold something. Il or elle ont vendu. They sold something. Okay? So that's how you would form the past participle for that. All right, let's move on to our irregulars. There's quite a few irregulars. So there's quite a few, and they actually, okay, even though they are irregular, we can pretty much find a pattern that will work. That will work for all of them. So as long as you know how to do one of each, there's going to be 3 patterns. As long as you're able to do one of each, you'll be able to do the rest, okay? So I'm going to flip my paper over, and I'm going to write irregular, re-verbs. Even though when things are irregular, it makes it a little more difficult, but for the most part, you can usually find a pattern within them, okay? So okay, like I said, there's gonna be 3 different verbs I'm gonna give you guys. They're all RE, they're all irregular, but if we know how to do those 3, we'll be able to do one similar to them, okay? So over here, I'm gonna do je, tu, il and elle, nous, vous, and il and elle, okay? Then up here at the top, I'm gonna have conduire, which means to drive. This is our first one. And I'm going to have mettre, which is to put, like to put on. And then the last one I'm going to have is rire. Rire means to laugh. To laugh. I'm running out of space. Okay, there you go. So what I'm going to do is these 3 are 3 patterns, okay? And if you're able to do these 3, then I'm going to give you a list of some below that are going to be conjugated similarly, okay? So let's start with conduire. Conduire is going to become conduit, okay? In a sense, it kind of does follow our pattern. If you look at it really closely, the RE takes off and it becomes an S, right? But it's not going to follow that pattern throughout because you come to il and elle and you are going to add something. It's not going to be nothing. It's going to be a T. All right. Then we have conduisant, conduisez, conduise. Okay. Now for mettre, it's very weird. It's going to be met, je mets, tu mets. Il la met, nous mettons, vous mettez, il la met. Okay. And again, if you look at it closely, it's almost like our irregulars are kind of following their own pattern, right? They have SST, ONS, ENT. But again, it's very irregular, so you can't really rely on that. Then rire is going to be ri, et ri. Nous avons bien ri, right? If you were Astrid in that script, she talks about that, how they had a good laugh. Et rien. Okay, so it's kind of weird. Now, let me give you guys the list of ones that are going to be conjugated similarly. And like I said, if you know these 3, you're going to be good with the other ones, okay? So some that are conjugated like this guy is going to be construire, which means to build. And if you follow the pattern, you would take off RE and you would do this SST, right? Add an S, ONS, S, easy, and then SENT. Then we have détruire, which is to destroy, to build, okay? Produire, just to produce. Réduire, just to reduce. And then one more, traduire, which is to translate. These are all going to be conjugated like conduire, to drive. Okay, now for mettre, we have permettre, which is to allow or to permit, right? Promettre. And you can see mettre is in that word already, so it makes it really simple to promise. Okay. And then I only have one for rire, and it's sourire, which means to smile. Okay. Now what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to give you guys the past participles. I just talked about this with the regular verbs. Remember, past participles for regular RE verbs, all you do is you take off RE and you add the new ending, right? You. But for irregulars, they're going to have irregular past participles because they're irregular in general, okay? So if you ever wanted to talk about any of these things in the past, if you wanted to say, oh yeah, I put on my jacket yesterday, or oh yeah, I laughed really hard yesterday, the other day I didn't smile, okay, whatever you want to say in the past tense, you're going to need to know how to do these. You're going to need to know these past participles, okay? So I'm just going to kind of list them at the bottom, and we'll have a little more practice with this later on. So I'm going to write past participles. Past participles. How to spell that for a second? Okay. So for conduire, it's going to become conduit. Construire becomes construit. Détruire, détruit. Produire, produit. Réduire, réduit. Traduire, traduit. Then we have mettre, becomes me. Permettre becomes permis. Promettre becomes promis. Rire becomes ri. And sourire becomes sourit. Okay, these are all your past participles, so if anytime you would want to talk about any of these things in the past tense, this is what you would use plus your helping verb, right? So you would say j'ai conduit, I drove. J'ai construit, I, built, whatever. So make sure you have these down. We'll do some practice, spend a couple days. We are going to do surrender on Thursday and practice these conjugations. So make sure you're ready. Au revoir, à bientôt.